Hello and welcome to the last video of the arts and craft chair designed by William Morris. It has been a nice trip and I hope you'll enjoy it and then decide to build one yourself. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll do all four of them like that, and it's supposed to be stronger than ever. Any chair in a production line will have that be that strong. Remember, these blocks were laminated with opposite grain, so it's no way. It's a better adhesive to the side rails on both sides. So it's a win-win, or a win-win-win because it's got screws in it. To make the curved backrest for the chair, I need to cut the wood in thin strips. I can do it on the bandsaw, or I can do it on the table saw. The table saw will leave me already smooth enough that I can glue together the pieces without having to run it through the planer to smooth it out, because the bandsaw leaves a little rough cut. Although this is narrow enough that I can do it on the table saw in a couple of passes, and I will be advantages to that, like I explained. So I cut it in thin strips so I can put it on the mold and bend them. Okay, now this is a form that I cut on the bandsaw. It's got the positive and the negative. You can cut it. I would recommend no more than 1.5 inches and bent, just a little bit more. I don't want more than that 1 inch in bent, otherwise it'd be too much. I cut a couple of wood that had a drill through it, so you want these pieces that had a little defect to be on the inside of the package. So I'm going to put a good piece, and I'm going to be able to glue it. Spread the glue. And this time, this second one, I'm going to leave a little bit of gap on one side, on the bottom. This is where the slats for the tenon for the slab is going to fit. Now we put this, it's got to be even with the bottom one. So only we leave a little channel on the center one. Make it like a sandwich, but it's got to be a little bit offset. Okay. I need to squeeze it a little bit more, so I'm going to put this one next to it and remove this one. Now we have another view of the pressing of the curved back. It's going to spring back a little bit on when I take it off the clamp, but not that much. And it's already considered when I pressed it in here, when I made the mold. So we just have this thing released from the mold that we made to make the back curved. So now we need to get rid of the mold and start working on the back. As as you notice, I left, and one side is flush, the other side I left a channel. The channel is so the slots can fit the tenons in there. This is a long mortise, but don't worry, because we are going to fill it between the slats, so you will not be able to see this channel. Hello, we will be cutting the tenons out here to go into the side rails on the on the stile. So for the backrest, this is the curved back. I put it on a jig so I can hold it straight on the table saw. So now I'm going to be making the cut to start cutting the tenons. Now we got the front part of the tenon. I will cut the back side of the tenon. Oops. Now we can cut the last shoulder in the bandsaw. Now, the purpose to have this back brace that we built and that we put in the mold, that we made it turn, made it curved, is to have this on a cut perfectly on an angle. We put it on the jig, and we put it in an angle, which is going to be this motor is exactly 90 degrees to the stile. We need to have the stile being flat. We don't want the stile being at an angle. If we cut the mortise going this way, this mortise, the tenon, we need to have the tenon going straight 90 degrees from the stile. So that was the reason we used that jig, to cut it perfectly 90 degrees to the stile. So you can see here, it's the way it is cut. We don't want the stiles to be following the curve, because it's going to be in an angle, you know, following the curve, and we don't want that. We want it to be exactly 90 degrees, both of the stiles being parallel to each other. We have this back piece that is curved, and we have this long mortise out here, sort of like a channel, a groove, a dowels, but it's not. But anyways, we have to fit we don't want this groove to show all the way across. So what we do, we put the spacers all at the same size to fit and then you don't notice that. So we glue all these spacers in here, and we sand it after we've been glued and dried. We sand it. You won't be able to see it hardly. And then we glue the slots for the backrest in there. So that way you will never see that long groove out there, and it was parted like a solid wood once it's sanded and everything. Now it's time to install the back rest. Now I need to the holes are drilled. I put this piece of spacer right here to make sure everything goes aligned. So I drill a 3/8 hole, and I put these spacers here to make sure it doesn't shift and it hits the armrest. Before I glue anything, I need to make sure everything works the way it's supposed to. I got the other side spacer, 1/2 inch spacers. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of glue inside the hole where the dowels are going to be. I'm putting a hardwood dowel, so make sure it's not going to cave in under the weight of the person there. Okay, I can use this to get it started. Now I can tap it a little bit. Okay. Let me get a flash screen. Okay, most of these flash screens are pull saws. And on the other side, okay. Don't need much. On the other side. Okay, we're gonna have a little trouble here. I don't want the back brace, the one that holds the back in a certain position, to hit the slots. So what I'm gonna have to do is make a cutout here so only hits the side rails. Now this is going to be the back brace. So to prevent the back brace from hitting the slots and eventually breaking them, I put the brace and my vise with 2 little pieces here at the end, and I curve a piece of thin wood until I got the radius that I needed, or that I felt comfortable with. And there we go, and trace it with a pencil. So now that we have everything the way we want it, we'll cut it on the bandsaw as close to the line as possible, and then I finish it up in the sander. Now, to install the back brace, the one that's going to hold the back rest. So what I'm going to do here is I already make a few, not drill completely, but I draw a line, make sure the holes are on line, and space map the right amount. The amount is arbitrary. You can, so since it's not drilled all the way out, I put a guide out there, and then I clamp these from the inside. You have to do it one sided. So once I'm ready, I line up with it already the holes that I drilled on the space on the support, and I will proceed to drill the hole all the way through. Make sure I go straight. Okay. Now, what is left to do? We're going to remove this. Put a dowel in there, just temporarily. That size dowel is going to be a temporary. And we are going to see, to make sure the backrest is flat, and not on one side or the other, to drill the hole again. So that is the backrest is touching both sides of this bracket. So now we put so this is an insurance that not only the distance between the two holes are going to be okay, but also this is parallel to the seat back. It's morning now, and I'm about to cut the slats. I already resawed this wood to a 1/2 inch for the bottom slat, the seat slats. So you can see this already being machined down and resaw it, and I run it through the planer ones. Now I'm going to be cutting the slots on my sled in lieu of my my miter saw, because I think I can get a better job out here. But since my sled is not that wide to put a stop on it, I put an extension here and a stop at the end. The extension is clamped basically to the back of the sled, and here is a block of wood, you know, and making the stop. Now all of the seat slots. So it's just the top part. I don't need to round out all 4 sides. Just the top parts. The seat lats, and I don't know that if you mark all the slots and you try to drill it exactly where you mark them, sometimes it doesn't work too good. So I build real fast this jig with some scrap wood, and I bolt it to the table, my little drill press table, and make the jig so I can put the slot and drill it, and doesn't have that much play at all, and you can always drill it in the same position. Just set the stop, and you know exactly where to stop for the putting screws on the slots. They're going to be for the seat. It's going to support the cushion, and I have some spacers that I made. Sorry. for this slot. So that way they're all at the same distance. I made these spacers purposely so they all can be set at the same distance. The last one. Okay. Well, now to finish the chair, I found a stain that was light enough to excel on this oak and show the fiber. I didn't want something too dark. I needed something more lighter, and I found it. Now I put it on and I immediately wipe it off, so it won't stain it too dark. Now I can start working on the seat slats, but separately, and it's not that much trouble, so it's a lot easier to do it this way and then reinstall the seat slats.